Oh, hello there, yeah. Sorry. So, today I'm going to be doing a movie review on Weird Science. So, got my Coke. Okay. Mm, Fucking orgasmic. Anyway, basically, Weird Science was directed by John fucking Hughes, and I believe it was written by John Hughes as well. Just going to double check it there now, love. Which in a second there, hon. Um, Yeah, whatever. Fuck off. Anyway, you want to look it up? Look it up, right? This is my review. I'm a lazy bastard. Anyway, so the plot of Weird Science is you got these two guys. One played by Elaine Elaine Ellen Mitchell Smith, and the other's Anthony Michael Hall. Basically, they're two fucking nerds. They're in school. They are geeks. They're outcasts. They're nerds. They're into fucking computers and shit. Well, not really computers and shit. Whatever. One of them is anyway. Essentially, they want girlfriends. They're horny. They're just typical 15-year-old teenagers. They want to get laid, but they're being bullied by these two bullies. One who's actually played by a very young Robert Downey Jr., but as he was known back then as just Robert Downey, and they get their pants pulled down in front of these hot girls at the start of the movie. So essentially, the two guys are just hanging out one night, chilling on a Friday night because the parents are not home, and fucking I don't believe the brother Ched is not home either. So they're chilling in this guy's house, and essentially they're watching Frankenstein, watching all this crazy shit, and while watching Frankenstein, they have this idea. Well, Anthony Michael Hall has this idea to why don't we create a girl using that cool ass computer you got because that can render 3D models and stuff. And at first he's like, I don't know, that's not true. It's like we could make her smart, make her whatever way you wanted it. So then they start to make this girl. They start taking photos like Albert Einstein, start taking dolls, all this sort of shit. They put bras on their heads, which is fucking funny, by the way. And it creates this weird shit to happen around the house. Like, shut it up, and he's like, come on, and Anthony Michael Hall breaks it. He's like, that was a birthday present. Oh my god. And essentially, this hot chick comes out, played by Kelly LeBrock. I didn't even look at the screen there, so I couldn't bleed and read it. Played by Kelly LeBrock. She comes out and then starts doing stuff with them, like showering with them, talking to them, driving with them. She's able to kind of use different powers. She goes to like a blues nightclub and gets them drunk, and essentially she tries to kind of help them get dates and wants them to relax, does crazy shit like throws parties with them. The two guys really like these two girls that Robert Downey Jr. and this other guy are dating. And essentially, like, they do like crazy shit. She's trying to teach this guy, Wyatt, that's his name, Wyatt, to relax, be himself, stand up to his brother because his older brother, played by the late great Bill Paxton, rest in peace, is bullying him. He comes home from military school, hits him, does all this crazy shit. And he's always like being horny around her and like, let's say I do this for you and all this shit. And the other guy's parents are just whatever. And they basically want to, like, he wants to like them to let loose, get girlfriends, throw parties, and they really like these two girls and they want to impress her. And crazy shit happens along the way. And that's essentially the plot in a nutshell. So, what do I think about this movie? This is a fucking classic. This is a John Hughes classic. I fucking love this movie. It's directed really fucking well. It has that nice 80s John Hughes teen comedy feel. It's definitely not the most serious of his movies, because a lot of his movies tend to be like drama comedy. Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink. There's even elements of drama in like 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, um, even Home Alone to a degree as well, which was written by him. But this is before Home Alone. But this would definitely be a lot more of a serious movie. Not a lot more of a comedic movie. Sorry. Um, this movie's just the definition of fun. Like from the beginning, I love the opening scene, which it might seem a bit creepy. I don't know, but it's like they're like, oh yeah, look at their bodies, the women naked in the shower. It's like, yeah, man, but that's not gonna happen. It's like, why do you gotta run fancy? We know the reality. And then like they're saying this while Robert Downey Jr. and the other guy are there, and he pull the pants down, and he's just like, here, check us out, and they're like, oh, and they're all laughing, and then you just get that amazing kick-ass opening fucking credit sequence with the electricity, and you hear that it's alive from Frankenstein. You hear weird science, and it's just an amazing fucking song. Jesus Christ. I think Anthony Michael Hall and the actor that plays Wyatt, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his fucking name. I think that their chemistry is great. Wyatt's the more nerdy, like kind of socially awkward, anxious type. Like you can, like throughout the movie, he gets nervous. Just like he seems like, I don't know if having a party is a good idea. It's like, what? You going? And while they're coming down the stairs later on in the film, it's like, what? You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 20 if you don't learn to relax and all that shit. I was like, I know, but Chad's gonna kill me. My parents are gonna kill me, and all this other shit. I can't have that and stuff like that. And it's just that kind of shit. Like he gets stressed very easily, and I can relate to that. I actually can relate to that being an awkward teen, because I'm a pretty awkward guy myself. And yeah, like so, I enjoyed that. Um, I love the little scene like where they're just kind of chilling in their bedroom. Has that nice big 80s fucking room. It's fucking class. And your man's like, he's just there. Andy Michael Hall's in the fucking mirror. He's like, come on, don't make a mess because the cleaner's not gonna be here till Monday. He's like, yeah, what are you doing here anyway? So then they're just talking about girls, talking about all this other shit, and then they're just watching Frankenstein, which is in color for some reason. I don't know. And essentially, while they're watching it, I love this scene because it's a very definition of show don't tell. They're just watching it, and you can tell he just has this idea. And then you get this amazing scene. It's like, why don't we make this, why don't we make a girl and stuff like that? It'll be great. And he's like, you're always going on about that, huh? So why don't we make a girl? And he's like, no, I just don't think it's a good idea. Whatever. And then, like, eventually he convinces him, I don't know. And then eventually, is his name Mike in this? I'm pretty sure, is his name Mike? I don't know. I think his name's Mike, isn't it? Yeah, anyway, Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah, anyway. So, you get this great montage of them like making the fucking thing, and they're like, oh no, too small, and then it cuts to this kind of like station place, and the guys, it's going fucking crazy, and then they're like, we want them smaller. No, we have the dolls, all this other shit. So it just goes crazy, and they connect the doll, and they're like, whoa, ha ha, and they kind of have like a with the candles, and then like it just goes crazy, like, shut it off, no, it was a birthday present, and he smashes it, and then you just get this amazing shot, which they kind of recreate at the end of the film. I get to that in a second, of like the smoke clearing away, and she comes up, and they're kind of like, so, and the camera pans up, she goes, so, what are you little maniacs like to get up to first? And they're like that, and then they shower, and they're just kind of like awkwardly there in their pants, underwear, and like, are you guys okay? And like, he's like, yeah, it's really funny. It's not weird at all. Like it's pretty funny. Not weird times that. And I really like that. I like that aspect. I like the role Bill fucking Paxton. Here he is. I love the role that he plays. He's like, oh, my brother's gonna kill me. He's like, you're stupid, bud. It's like, for what? He's like, you know what time it is? Like 4:30. Yeah. He starts hitting him and getting all aggressive and shit. And every scene he was in, he just fucking stole the show. There's the part he gets out of the show, he's like, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna kill you, butthead. And you see his bare ass, and he's like, Hi, Chad. He's like, yeah, screw you, man, and all this shit. And then, like, he's trying to flirt with Shirley Brooke, like, get out of here, you dumb broad. Why don't we do something personal? And then she has the best comebacks ever. It's like, I've waited here forever. I fucking done my toes and all this shit. But like, I just thought that aspect of it was funny, and he's like an unlovable dick. He's a no, sorry, he's a likable dick. You know. Bill Paxton was great at playing those roles. He had a brief role in Terminator. He was in True Lies. He played the game over, man, game over in Aliens and Trespass. He was in that. Fucking terrific actor, and it's just a fucking shame that he had to pass away. Uh, but I love that shit. I love the scene later on uh, when I get actually no, I guess that I love the scene where she's like, right, let's go. Where Kelly LeBrock wants to bring the guys out. It's like, come on. He's like, hey, where'd you get this car? It's like, I can have anything I want. And she's able to like change her license plates and change her license, and they're driving. Like, where are we going to? And they're going to a blues club. And I fucking love this part. I thought it was really funny. He's like, oh yeah, hey, they're all awkward and they're all looking up at them when they walk in. You know, that kind of, which became kind of a stereotype. And I love that when he goes in and there's this really funny scene, and he's Wyatt's like, hey dudes, and everyone's just looking at him, and then they're like making fun. It's like, so how did this guy end up with a girl like nice broad like you or something like that? Well, our relationship is entirely sexual. And then Anthony Michael Hall's like, yeah, and then they're just talking or whatever, and then it's really really funny because he gets drunk. He's like, I had this girl. She tore my heart out. She, bitch, man. Bitch tore your heart out. This bitch. Crazy ass bitch. She kicked me in the nuts. And then he kind of starts sounding like Eric Cartman, which I thought was funny. And that scene goes on for a while. And then they're driving home, and Anthony Michael Hall is drunk in the back. And he's like, give me the keys. Give me the keys. And all that. And like, no, we got to get him home and shit. And also they mentioned that at the start of the movie. He's like, he liked the, or the girl's name is Lisa. That's Kelly LeBrock's character's name is Lisa. So why don't we call her Lisa? It's like in the car. He's like, why don't we call her Lisa? It's like, why Lisa? He used to like a girl, Lisa. It's like, no, no. And then she kicked him in the nuts and all that. But yeah, I thought that the humor holds up well. It was great. I love the part where they go home, they walk up the stairs and stuff. I was like, you guys are late, and he's like, hey, Chad, and he starts like fucking playing with Bill Paxton's lip and goes in, and then they wake up the next morning, and they're like, was that a dream? It's like, no, it must have been a dream. It's like, and the shoes are on the bed. It's like, no, then we couldn't have had the same dream, Lisa, like, and then they see the evidence and they see her, and I love that. But as well, the movie's actually very creative. There's a lot of creative things in it. Like, I like the whole fact that the creator and she kind of can make any power thing she wants. Like later on, like near the end of the film, um, she turns Chet's being a dick, and she turns him into like a literal pile of shit, which is hilarious. Like, hi, well, how long is this gonna last? It's like, you're gonna be nice to Wyatt, Michael, and all this. It's like, and apologize. Okay, I'll apologize. Like, hey, I'm sorry, Wyatt. I love you, man. It's like, how long is this gonna wear off? And he's like, and then Wyatt's like, look, is this gonna wear off? Because it'll ruin Christmas. No, it'll wear off in the next hour or so, and it won't ruin Christmas and all that. I like that. It's just an inventive, original idea. I like how fucking crazy it gets, and it deserves the title, Weird Science. I what else is there? I like the characters. I find them likable. You feel kind of bad for him because he's like a very lovable guy. Anthony Michael Hall's like the comic relief and he's really funny. Kelly LeBrock is she's very likable lead. She's sexy, likable. Um, it has that great, nice 80s feel. I love the part where they go to shop mall and they're looking around like, oh, She's like, oh, you getting perfume? I was like, yeah. And then I love the part where they think they're cool and they're talking to that girl. It's like, oh yeah, so we have, are they for our moms? Oh, are they for our moms? No, they're for our. He's like, they're not for our mom. They're for someone else. You know, I was like, you guys have girlfriends? Like, yeah. Hey, aren't you the guy that puked last year? Yeah, yeah, that was me. And then the guy was like, I feel like things are finally turning around for us. And then you kind of get Robert Downey Jr. is like, oh, look who it is. Oh God, should we screw with them? And I was like, oh yeah. And then they pour like a slushy on their head as soon as they say that. And then you get that moment where Kelly LeBrock is going up the escalator and the two guys are looking, and then they're like, and you have the pretty woman walking down the street, and they're running after her, and then they're like trying to flirt, like, hi, you look nice and all that stuff. They're kind of like flirting, and then like, Andy Michael Joyce's car's like, come on, let's go, and then like as she's talking, he's just there like nibbling her ear. I thought that was funny. And he drives off. Um, that aspect, it's creative. And funny, and I love the part. Another part I find fucking hilarious in the movie is the part where they go to what's it? Um, mm, the part where um Lisa goes to when talking to Wyatt. It's like, oh, I get to go um meet his parents and all that. Anthony McCall's parents and stuff. And it's just the funniest fucking scene. I'd say possibly the funniest scene in the movie. I really like it. It's like they're just there talking, and it's like, well, it's great. He's a great guy, and saying all this horrible stuff. I was like, are you in his school? He's like, no. It's like, oh yes, he may be weird that he tosses off into magazines. It's like, oh no, how could you do that, Mom? I don't toss off into magazines, and it's just this really funny scene where she keeps saying more offensive shit. It's like, I never did. I think you gotta leave and all that stuff. And then she wipes the memory, and I love it. It cuts back, and she's like, "It's like, what about my parents and all? They're gonna freak out." It's like, "Oh, that won't be a problem." Hold on, I gotta find out fucking Andy Michael Hall's character's name in it. Um, doesn't fucking say. Hold on, it's not. It's definitely not